Today we're going to talk about two pens. And I'm going to tell you, well, let's just start off with why you might not want to buy the Nitecore NTP 30. So this pen is definitely a solid pen, but it is $120. Yes, this pen is $120. That is a lot of money for a pen. Now, some of you guys, no big deal. You're very happy to pay that kind of money for a pen of quality. And this pen is quality. I mean, it's made out of titanium. But there's another option besides this Nitecore NTP 30, and that is the Nitecore NTP 31. And I'll post a picture up for you guys right here. The NTP 30, the NTP 31, the difference is this pen right here is all titanium. The NTP 31 is an aluminum pen, and that is why there's such a big difference in the cost. Other than that, they are pretty much the exact same. There's a little bit of change in the clip, but really functions pretty much the exact same. And so obviously you can save yourself a lot of money if you're not worried about titanium. Now, if you want a titanium pen, this is definitely an option you may want to consider. So let's talk a little bit about this pen. One, it was marketed as a tactical pen, and I'm going to be honest, I will never use a pen in a tactical situation. One, if I'm not trained how to fight, so I don't use pens to fight. If I was going to fight, I would pick up, something bigger, something blunt, and something that I might have a little more chance of hitting somebody with. And it's not going to be this little pen. I probably could throw it at them. Maybe that would be okay. Maybe distract them or something. But to me, it's not a tactical pen. To me, it's a writing instrument, and that's what I'm going to use it for. One of the things I do like about this pen, though, is that you can see right here, it has a bolt action, which I always enjoy. Now, I'm not a guy who's going to carry around toys and fidgets and that kind of thing. That was really big in the EDC community, if you will, for a while. And I'm glad it's kind of gone out of style because I don't need to carry more things in my pocket. But I will say I do like to fidget. And so having a bolt action pen, for me, that kind of hits that mark for me. I'm constantly playing with the bolt action, and one of the things you'll see with this one is where it sits is in the middle, and that's because if you flip it up here, it has this tip, and that is a carbide tip meant for breaking glass. I do think that this is something that is really pretty cool idea for a pen. So I carry a pen with me daily. I write notes. I'm a clinician for my job and so I'm constantly looking for pens and using pens to write all kinds of different things. And having a pen with a glass breaker on it, I think is actually really kind of cool. Again, I've never had to break glass, and hopefully I will never have a need to immediately break glass. But it is an added bonus there. And so I definitely think it's that piece is cool. Now, this is the construction on this. Basically, like I mentioned, is all titanium, but I'm going to break it down for you just so you can see how it all looks. Let's take a look at this right here first. So if you actually don't want that carbide tip there, you can actually get rid of that. And it's not going to change the function of the pen at all. All you have to do is pull that out. You're going to slide your spring right back in, put your cap back on, and no more do you have that carbide tip. And I would say the one reason to do that is if you're finding you're poking yourself with this a lot. So that could be a problem for you, and that spring will still sit in there. It'll still function. You won't have any problems with it doing that. So that is one nice piece about the way they built this, is you can get rid of that if you want to. To pull this out, you've got a spring. The piece right here actually just unscrews, and so you can actually take all of this apart. You've got the top of your barrel here, and then your other little pieces here. Then you've got your main barrel of the body of the pen, and the bottom there, your spring. This does use these Schneider ink, and these work pretty well, and I don't have any complaints about how well they work. And again, it's pretty pretty basic construction, but I do like the fact that it breaks all down like this. And part of the reason I like that is because although these are pretty good ink pens, they're not necessarily the best ink pens, and they can break. And if you've ever had a pen, an ink pen that ruptures, typically we just throw them away. But when you have a $120 pen, you might want to think twice about just throwing a pen away just because ink burst in. So I do appreciate the fact that it does come apart like this. I wish they'd put a little bit of a nicer ink cartridge in it, but it's not a bad one by any means, so I can't complain about that. Make sure I get my right springs here. So taking a little closer look at the build on this, you can see it does have this nice milling work on there, and it is comfortable in hand. This pen is a little bit of a thinner pen, and I shouldn't, for most people it probably wouldn't be all that thin, but I carry, a lot of times I carry this fell header, or I never can pronounce it right. Fellholter, or however you want to pronounce it, right? But it's a little bit thicker, and I prefer a little bit of a thicker pen. This is much more of your traditional, like, Bic size pen. And so for a lot of you, you'll be absolutely fine with that. You will not mind that at all. But for me, it's a little bit thin. And if you like a thicker pen, you might want to keep looking then and find something different for you. If this size pen for you works, then that's great. You don't have any problems with that. You'll be content using this pen. So the other piece I would mention is this does tend to come loose here, the bolt on your bolt action here. It does come loose fairly easily, and so you may want to actually consider maybe putting some Loctite in there just to make sure that doesn't come out on you. You'd hate to lose that piece and make your pen non-functional. I haven't had any issues with it, but I know there are some people out there who have had issues with that. I'm constantly checking mine though to make sure it doesn't come loose, constantly tighten it. So you may want to do that. As far as the clip, it does have a really nice clip. This does a great job in pocket. And I have ruined many a pens because of clips. The nice thing about titanium is you're not going to have to worry about that. That clip is not going to break on you, pulling it out of your pocket or putting it in your pocket. And so I think you'll be happy with that. As far as, again, look at some of the details on this. It really is a very nice pen. Now, I've had this one for several years, so you can see it's got some marks in it and some scratches in it. But overall, it is a nice pen. That being said, for $120, would I buy it again? Probably not. I'd probably go with that aluminum version. Unfortunately for me, they didn't have the aluminum version at the time. So if I was going to spend $120, I'm going to be honest, I'd spend $125 and go with a fell header instead. To me, I like this pen a little bit more. Now, I may do a review on this pen at another time. It's definitely a very popular pen for a lot of guys. So if you do like titanium pens, you might like that better. But if you like a smaller, thinner pen, this definitely, it has an advantage of having that carbide tip. And for you, that might make the difference for you. You might say, you know what, for that, I will go ahead and get that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you do have any questions or any comments, make sure you leave them below. And hit that subscribe button so that you can catch more content here.